Hello, this is the Incredible Hulk. He's pretty overwhelming. He's pretty incredible, but he's pretty overwhelming. I mean, he jumps around, he breaks stuff all the time, he creates all this havoc, all this property is just messed up, and then everyone has to fix it. Yeah, he's incredibly crazy. However, you guys forget that the Incredible Hulk is also a much calmer guy named Bruce Banner. He's a scientist. He talks really low. He's afraid to talk to girls, but he's not as overwhelming. So this big green monster is also a not overwhelming, a much simpler guy. Now, I say that because today I'm going to teach you about how to find the areas of two shapes. Well, in this first video, the area of this parallelogram. The name is kind of overwhelming. I can't even say it. See? Parallelogram. It just means that the opposite sides, this side is parallel to this side, and this side is parallel to this side. And with that complicated name, it's not as complicated to find the area. Kind of like how the Incredible Hulk is also the not so complicated Bruce Banner. And then later in the next video, I'm going to show you how to find the area of a trapezoid. Trapezoid. Complicated name. Not as complicated to find the area when you really think about it. So this is really one shape that's deep down. It's really a much simpler shape that we can find the area on. So, Incredible Hulk, Bruce Banner, okay, parallelogram, a much simpler shape, trapezoid, a much simpler shape. So, let's find the area of a parallelogram, the Bruce Banner way, not the incredible, overwhelming way. So here's our parallelogram, the shape with a complicated name, parallelogram. Parallelogram. All the opposite sides are parallel. So these are parallel, these are parallel. They're also congruent. That means that they're the same length. But how does that help us with how to find the area? How many squares fit inside of this shape right here? What's the area? Well, okay, again, right now this is Incredible Hulk status. It's kind of overwhelming. So I'm going to take these scissors. I'm going to perform some surgery so we can make it look much simpler like our Bruce Banner. So I'm going to take our scissors right here. I'm just going to cut right here. So there's our parallelogram, and I'm going to perform some surgery. I'm going to move this here. Here's that same shape, that same piece, and what? That parallelogram, the Incredible Hulk, turned into Bruce Banner, a much simpler shape, a rectangle. What? So I didn't, yeah, so this right here, the formula for the area of a parallelogram is the same formula as the area of the much simpler rectangle, base times height. That's all. Parallelogram, what? What is it? What's the area? Rectangle, base times height. There we go. So if the area of a rectangle is base times height, then the area of a parallelogram is base times height. All right, so put that in your notes here. I'll even write it down right on this parallelogram right here. So area of a parallelogram. Area of a parallelogram. Base times height. Why? Because it's the same as a rectangle. Because a parallelogram deep down inside, when it's not as crazy as the Incredible Hulk, it calms down a little, eats a croissant, is just really a rectangle. Okay, so it's fine. It's the same area. Okay, so deep down, parallelogram, rectangle. So before we start finding the area of some examples, there's one thing that I want you guys to make sure that you really know. One fact about the base and the height, they are always and this is really important, perpendicular. Okay, put this in your notes, highlight it. The base and the heights are always perpendicular. If you choose numbers that aren't perpendicular, choose sides that aren't perpendicular to each other, then you will get the wrong answer, and then you'll get really sad, and I'll be really sad for you. So make sure that you choose sides that are always perpendicular, as this is shaking a lot. So here are some examples. So draw a line like this. Let's draw some parallelograms. Okay, so this one and this one right here. If I made this the base, this right here, this side right here is not perpendicular, so that would not make a right angle, and so these would not be the base and height. So draw a circle like that and say no, those cannot be used as the base and the height. Let's draw another parallelogram. Okay, so here's a parallelogram. Opposite sides are parallel. If this was the base, we need a side that is perpendicular to that. So if we drew a line like this that makes an upside down T, right? That's a symbol for perpendicular. This could be the height. So we could multiply this side and this side to find the area of a parallelogram. Let's draw another one. So if we drew this and this like that. Okay, so let's make this our base, and let's say that there's a line that goes like this, okay, and a line like that. Okay, this can be used as our height because just like this one, if we move this over, it would still be perpendicular to our base. Okay, so always choose sides that are perpendicular. Make that square right there, because remember, area is the number of squares that fit inside, so your base and the height have to make that perpendicular square. Okay, this base, this height, these aren't even bases and heights because they aren't perpendicular. Okay, so area of a parallelogram, base times height. Base and height are always perpendicular, so there you go. So let's grab our calculators and let's find the area of some parallelograms. Not so complicated when you know that it's the same area as a rectangle. So find the area of this parallelogram. So there's a bunch of numbers. Which numbers are we going to use? Remember, area of a parallelogram is base times height. Let's identify which ones are base and which ones are height. Well, this 5.1 is perpendicular to the 3, so there we go. We have 3 times 5.1, and yeah, decimals. Let's grab our calculators and let's just multiply. 3 times 5.1 is 15.3 yards, and remember, it's number of squares that fit inside, squared. Okay. And that's it. Let's do the next example. Find the area of this shape. Okay, again, they have all these numbers. Area is base times height for a parallelogram. Why? Because a parallelogram, if we move this triangle over here, it would be a rectangle. So let's just figure out which our base and heights are, the two sides that are perpendicular. 7 times 3, they make that upside down T for the perpendicular. 7 times 3 is 21. Didn't even have to use a calculator for that. Feet squared. Okay, so because it's how many squares fit inside. All right, next example. Look at that. Once we figured all that out, it's not that complicated. Yeah, Bruce Banner, not Incredible Hulk. So find the area of this parallelogram. We have the 3.8, we have the 4, we have the 2. Which sides are we going to use for our base times height? It's 4. And if we move this 2 over, it will be perpendicular to the 4. So 4 times 2 is just 8 miles squared. So make sure you put this in your notes. Okay, draw this in your notes. Yeah. Look at that. Okay. Next example. Find the missing measurement. This time, we have a parallelogram. They give us the area. They want us to figure out what question mark is. That's fine. So we know that the area of a parallelogram is base times height because, again, it's a rectangle. It's the Bruce Banner. So let's just substitute some numbers. We know the area here is 4.2 equals our base. What is perpendicular? What two sides are perpendicular? The 3 and the question mark. So we have 3 times question mark. Okay, and these are multiplying each other. Opposite of multiplication is division. We'll divide both sides by 3. And so our question mark is equal to, and let's take our calculators, 4.2 divided by 3 is 1.4. 1.4 feet. Just feet, not feet squared, because we weren't trying to find the area. This is the area. Okay, we're just trying to find a length. Okay, so it's just feet. That's it. Okay, and then the last example for parallelograms. Find the missing measurement. So again, area is equal to base times height. We'll substitute some numbers. A is 8.7 is equal to, okay, so now which ones are base and the height? Which two sides are perpendicular? Well, we have question mark is perpendicular to this 2.9. So question mark times 2.9. All right, let's grab our calculators because opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 2.9 to get rid of that 2.9. And so 8.7 divided by 2.9 is 3. Hey, look at that. Question mark is equal to 3. And don't forget the units. What's the unit? Yards. Remember, not yards squared, because it's not the area. We're just trying to find the length. And that's it. So that's how to find the area of a parallelogram, and that's how to find the lengths of missing sides of a parallelogram. So I hope that was simple. Okay, the Bruce Banner way, not the crazy Incredible Hulk way. All right, so have a great day. Next video will be how to find the area of a trapezoid.